Hello friends and welcome. Today I wanted to address a common problem amongst Dota 2 players, and that is misclicking the minimap. Now, to be clear, what I am specifically referring to, and is the most common case, is when you're running usually towards the bottom left of your screen, you're using edge panning to move the camera, and then oops, you click on the minimap and turn in the other direction. Sometimes that's harmless, and other times you run straight into the arms of death as the enemy team is chasing you. So, in either case, it's usually preferable to not misclick. Now, if you don't have this issue, you're good to go. You don't really have to watch the rest of this video. But if this has been an issue for you, then hopefully a couple of these suggestions, maybe one of them will fit your needs. So, the first is to use, under Options, Advanced Options, Minimap Misclick Protection Time. Now, I'm going to turn it up all the way just to make it easier to demonstrate what's happening here. What this means is that when you hover your cursor over the minimap, whatever you set it to, so right now it's half a second, 0.5, that is how long your cursor has to be in this area before right-clicking comes into play. So I'm spam right-clicking right now, and then you'll notice nothing happens for a little bit until half a second passes. I'm clicking right here. I don't know if you can tell, if you can hear the noise or not, but I'm spamming right-clicks, and it only comes into play after half a second. So the good thing about this is that this will probably completely remove your misclicking issue because it's rare to have your cursor in this area for more than half a second, even as you try to edge pan in that direction. The downside is that if you actually do move through the minimap quite frequently, maybe because you play illusion heroes, summon heroes, moving your courier around, stuff like that, then now you have to wait half a second every time you want to give a movement command, and that builds up. You might end up wasting time. So usually something shorter than half a second is a little more reasonable if you want to use this. I personally have it set to 0.2, and that way I don't have to wait too long for my cursor to be on the minimap before it starts coming into play. But there is still a slight protection time if you edge pan like so. But honestly, I probably don't even need this command anymore, because as I get into your second option, which is to not use edge panning, you could use keyboard commands if you want, WASD or whatever you have it set to. I don't have them bound, so I can't really, I do have them bound to the keys. So you could use this instead, and then that way your cursor stays in the center of the screen. Or you could use camera grip, and for example, if I'm running down here, you'll notice the way camera grip works is that my cursor stays mostly in the center of the screen even as I move it around. And this prevents my cursor from ever going to where the minimap is. And if it's not in that area, then I can't accidentally click on it and move in the wrong direction. So ever since I switched to camera grip away from edge panning, I almost never misclick the minimap. And in fact, I was going to say I never do, but actually it happened to me very recently, and it surprised me so much because it hasn't happened in so long. For the reason I explained, you're just not in the minimap area unless you want to be, so it's never a misclick anymore. Or if you've been edge panning for like a long time, then people feel it's hard to switch. I think it probably depends on the person. I thought it would be tough to switch. It was actually very easy for me. I recommend you give it a shot if you're interested. Just try turning it on, enter a bot game, enter an arcade game, something like that. Try moving around a couple minutes, maybe a couple games, and maybe it's easy for you. It was surprisingly easy for me. Another option you have if you don't want to use camera grip, say you're still using edge pan, is to hold select hero to follow. And then when you start moving in the bottom left direction, instead of edge panning because you're running out of space to click, you just press and hold your select hero button, and now you can just keep running like so without ever having to edge pan. Now, this option is actually even useful if you're ever body blocking creeps. Have you ever done that where you're like trying to block the creeps, then you got to move your camera, then you got to click again, you're going to move your camera, click again, move it, click it. If you do this, you can just kind of like, you're constantly clicking in the same general area while body blocking creeps. That same principle applies, but just as you're running away in the bottom left direction, and now you don't, hopefully still don't, misclick on the minimap. Your last option is probably the most insane to a lot of people, and that is over here, to put the minimap on the right side of the screen. Because of the way Dota is oriented, with the radiant being in the bottom left, dire in the top right, the most common way to move your camera is like so. that's where the misclicking comes into play as you move towards the bottom left part of your screen. If the minimap's on the bottom right side of your screen, then that's never really an issue. Maybe you'll accidentally buy a town portal scroll or something you have set up to quick buy here. But besides that, it's a very low chance of misclicking because there's nothing to misclick in this area. Now, you could misclick if you're moving to like the bottom right of your screen. I gotta turn edge panning back on so I can demonstrate this. You know, if you're moving this way and clicking, yeah, it could still happen, but it's just less likely to happen because moving in this direction just is not as common as having to move bottom left to top right. Many people don't like that idea, though, of having the minimap on the right side, but maybe if you're new to Dota and you're indifferent to it, then you could. I will say if you're a content creator or a streamer like myself, a lot of people don't like seeing the minimap on the right side, so that's actually why mine's on the left side. Because I wouldn't mind having it on the right side. I think it's useful, but many people hate seeing it there, so they prefer it here. But if you don't do any of that and you don't have to worry about anyone judging how you use the interface, then I think putting it on the right side would be totally fine. So those are kind of your options if you frequently misclick. Some of it is just control. Like if you're new to the game and you're misclicking, over time you'll probably get better at it. So if you don't really want to use any of those options, then maybe just playing more will help out. But I think at the least using this minimap protection time is pretty easy. You can change it around to see what fits you, but even a short time like 0.2, maybe even lower like 0.1, shouldn't really be an issue for most players. So hopefully that'll help if you have been having troubles with misclicks. Thanks for watching. Bye.